So after my quite a failure attempt to beat LeetCode using ChatGPT, I decided that it would be nice to write a bit of the automation for the LeetCode contest. And what I mean is that would be cool if there is like a tool which opens browser, that goes to the LeetCode, logs in, then starts the contest, get the description of the problem, sends it to ChatGPT, copies back the solution, pastes it in the LeetCode text editor, and does it for all the 4 problems which are in the contest. I have a bit of the experience with test automation, mainly using Selenium. There are other tools for that, like WebDriver IO, Protractor, Cypress. There are more tools for the web browser UI automation, and there is a thing which kind of combines them all, is that in order to click on the links in the browser and do some actions, all those tools, they need to know the CSS or XPath or any kind of a selector which allows them to click on the buttons. So before jumping into the code and using Selenium to do that, what I want to do, I want to go through all the steps manually in the browser, collect the selectors, and see what I can do in terms of the automation. So for example, let's say I go to the LeetCode page at the very beginning, and there are 2 things which I can see. So 1.1 is I am not logged in. So the first thing, if we did log in into the browser before and we try to run the automation, we need to log in first. So if we see this button, if we see sign in button in header, means that we're not logged in. So this step 1.1 is valid only if we are not logged in, means we need to click on that button. And we go to the login page. On this page, there are 2 obvious fields. First, we need to fill in username, fill in password, and we need selectors for these fields. Now we need to click the sign in button, obviously, so we need selector for it too. Now, as you see, after I logged in, we are redirected to the LeetCode page. So let's see what happens if when I'm already logged in into the LeetCode in the same browser. I will try to go to LeetCode. Yeah, I don't see a sign in button anymore. So it means that we end up in this tab. And basically, if we end up at 1.2, we can go straight to the next step. So next step would be to open the contest directly. We can go to the contest page and click on the contest, but it would take 2 steps. Why do that if we already have a link to the contest here? So next weekly contest is 330, and the link to it is look like this. So again, just go to the contest directly. And the cool thing about LeetCode that they keep a list of the contests which they had. So we can just go to the contest 277, and it's still here. We can still see the structure of the page and stuff, and that's exactly what we need. So what we can do, we can just start the virtual contest, click on this button, say yes, we started, and then go to the contest using the direct link. And here we have a list of tasks. So third thing is to click on these tasks in this list. So let's see what are the CSS selectors for all these tasks. So we see the first one. Oh, I copied something like not a selector. Copy selector, okay. So we have a selector, we can click on it. Let's check CSS selectors for all other tasks in this contest and how different they are. Okay, I gonna see that the only way they are different is the position of Lee element. And I would guess the last one will be 5. So we would want to loop through all of them. So we would say like for I from 2 till 5. We'll loop through them. And I will say 5 inclusive. It's kind of pseudocode or something. So we're gonna loop through all these things and repeat the thing like 4 times. The step number 3. So the first thing is click on the problem. So we do the click. Now what we want to do, we want to copy whatever the description has. Let's check, is it the right element which I copied? Okay, check text content. Yeah, given an integer, blah, 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 and the constraints. Okay, this is exactly what we need. So if I'm writing this automation tool, it will grab text content of this element, basically the description, maybe modify it slightly, send it to ChatGPT, then get back the response. And now we need to put it into this element. The trick with this element is that this is not a simple text area, as I already know. And from the elements here, I see that it's code mirror. Let's just Google it, code mirror editor. So we need to find a way how to paste things into the code mirror. But first, let's say we copy problem description, then send problem description to ChatGPT. Copy back solution. We also need to figure out one thing is, I'm pretty sure that LeetCode is trying to catch cheaters. If we try to copy bluntly like 200 lines, which ChatGPT returns to us, and just paste it in here, it will be easily detectable, because if there is no like lines here in the text editor, maybe 5 lines, and then suddenly you have like 200 lines there, it's pretty easily trackable. So I think what I will need to do is to make sure that whatever code I'm writing, it's kind of typing solution here instead of like copy pasting it. But that's another like problem which I will have to solve. That's pretty much all for kind of designing the steps. I will just do a quick look into which tool to use, and then we'll think a bit about architecture and come back, talk to you a bit more about it. Okay, after looking at the Selenium WebDriver and trying it, I ended up with this diagram. I'm going to have two applications. The first one is the actual WebDriver JS server, which starts the browser and doesn't close it. It is going to be Express application. As you already understood, they are going to talk through REST, and there are like four major endpoints. The first one, post LeetCode, is to make sure that we logged in into the LeetCode. The second one, to get LeetCode Contest details. The third one, to get LeetCode Contest task detail. Fourth one is to actually submit the solution to some particular task. So this is the diagram, just an overview. Most of the parts are already implemented except GPT part, but I'm going to work on this tonight. If to look into the code, I have like two very simple modules, and on an example, I'm logging into the LeetCode. It's a very simple post. Then we go to open, and here WebDriver wait for login URL to appear on the page. If URL doesn't appear, it means that we're already logged in, and we just proceed. So it's very simple code. I will leave a link to the GitHub project so you can browse it and look at it. But in the meantime, let's just go ahead and see how it works. So when I start the project, we see that it starts web browser chat. And as I mentioned, the WebDriver JS server doesn't do anything by itself. It just accepts commands. So it starts the browser, and browser lives on, and we can actually send commands to the browser. So the first one, to login. So this is the login, and I'm sending some credentials. If we go to the browser, I can show you what's going on here. So everything is going on automatically. WebDriver JS is doing stuff. I'm not doing anything at all. So it's logged in, and it's returned like nothing, which is expected. The next part would be to go to some particular contest. I picked up like, let's put like 219 weekly contest. And what this endpoint should do, it should open the contest page and get the details of the tasks, like titles and URLs. So just go ahead and execute it and look what happens in the browser. You see it opened the contest page immediately and responded with the details. Here we can see count of matches in tournament, and it returned us count of matches in tournament. So everything is working fine, and let's go further and try to get the details of a particular task. So what it does, it goes directly to the task and then gets the details like description of the task. And also I'm getting the template, because what I want to tell ChatGPT, I want to tell something like, hey, here's a template, give me a solution for this description using this template. Let's see what we got in the response. So here we got the title and the description, which starts with, you are given an integer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, here it is. And the last endpoint is to send the solution. I'm putting just dummy solution right now. It's not ChatGPT because I didn't implement it yet. But let's see how the solution is actually being applied. This is the most interesting part, because LeetCode prohibits like copy pasting, and if during the contest it will see that you're actually pasting the code into the code mirror editor, your account probably be warned and then banned. That's why I had to kind of add few tricks to bypass that. Anyway, let's just go ahead and see what happens when I try to apply the solution. So you see, I did it kind of in a way that kind of human is typing. WebDriver is actually typing there. Here's my hands. So this thing is kind of imitating the human typing. So LeetCode won't like ban the account. I'm not using my real account. I created a few test accounts. I'm not sure how good LeetCode at recognizing is it real human or not, but it's just how it is. So this is the way it's implemented. And the good thing is that I don't even have to close this window. I can like go here, just press run code, see what's going on here, and just like as a human kind of finish the job of the computer. The second part, which I'm going to show you, is the client part, because it would be really inconvenient to copy paste this like post and gets into the command line. That's why I have a client part, which actually sends some comments to the server part. So here is the client. It basically sends post server LeetCode and post the username and password. Then after logging in, it returns like contest details and so on and so on and so on. And because the response from the contest details has the links and URLs to some particular tasks, we are just solving all these tasks one by one. We'll just run the thing, open the browser, and you will see what's going on. So let me go ahead and change the contest name to something like 189 and see how this thing is working. So here is the browser. I'm starting the client, and let's go to the browser and see what happens. So this delay on the main page is basically because it's waiting to find the sign in button, then realizes that we already signed in. So this is the first task, and it's kind of typing or like human typing. Emulation is going on. So it's done. The next task, exactly same thing happens. Okay, task number 3, exactly same thing. So that's where I am right now. I'm going ahead implementing the ChatGPT integration, and hopefully tomorrow by 9 a.m. I will be able to test it on the real LeetCode contest. Okay, I finished the integration with ChatGPT, and to my surprise, it was much easier than I have expected. Also, I never had a problem with the accessibility. Sometimes when you open ChatGPT in browser, it says that servers are overloaded and you have to wait. Maybe it's because it's 2 a.m. in the morning, nobody is using it. But in any case, let's just go through the code and see what I've added. I improved this getSolution method, and getSolution method builds a message, write a Java algorithm to solve problem below. We put a problem description and then another line like use code template below, and this code template is coming from the task. So we just merge it with a new line symbol and send it to ChatGPT. And after that, everything works exactly as it worked before. So we're just sending it solutions to WebDriver. Tomorrow in the morning, I will try it on the real contest. Okay, contest already started just like a few seconds ago. So let's just go ahead. So far it looks good. We started solving the first easy problem, and the client is talking to ChatGPT right now. The only thing which worries me is that there might be other people who use ChatGPT for the LeetCode contest. It's not like I think there are. I am sure there are people who do that. So it could be the unnecessary load on ChatGPT, but if it fails, I will just get the subscription and we'll use the subscribed version. Okay, easy, done. The first medium. I'm not sure is this kind of cheating acceptable, and the thing which worries me is that LeetCode might detect all these hacks. I am really convinced that it's not going to be easy for them to detect it. The only thing which kind of bothers me is that I'm using Selenium WebDriver, and the way it works, it actually injects some pieces of the JavaScript into the page which are detectable. Normally, when I use the headless automation, means there is no real browser which starts. It's 100% detectable and very easily. But with the WebDriver version where we actually start the browser, like I'm doing it right now, there is 3 or 5% of possibility to detect it. Okay, we're solving the second medium right now, and things are going pretty fast, I must admit. Okay, almost done here. Okay, and the hard one. So I'm given it's 2 out of 4, probably. Not sure, but let's see. Okay, ChatGPT worked fine, the script worked fine, and once client finishes typing the solution, I will just go ahead and try to submit those. Another thing which is very important, it's better not to touch anything while WebDriver is working. Because if I unfocus something, it might like disturb the client. So I'm not going to do that. And yeah, client finished working. Let's just go ahead and submit our tasks. And it's not correct. Let's just go ahead and try to submit a medium. So the first medium, I'm gonna use example test cases and see if those work. Okay, we got 207. Let's submit it. Oh, the medium got accepted. Very cool. Another medium. Let's use example test cases immediately, and expected answers are 7 and 2. And we got 8 and 5. Yeah. So this one is not going to pass. And hard. If we use example test cases, run the code, then expected answers true and false, and we got 2 false. Yeah, so you can see that ChatGPT is okay solving one of the problems. I honestly expected it to solve easy one, and it's interesting that it did manage to. Even the test case didn't work. Other than that, the experience was pretty good. I will upload it to GitHub. Don't want to talk about the morality of doing this thing, but that's pretty much it for now.